Hello everyone. Today I would like to talk about Buddhist teachings on how to live freely. I think all people wish to live freely. What we all really want is the freedom to do what we like, when we like, with whomever we like, and as much as we like. As children, we are bound by school and our parents, and as adults, we are bound by work and the household. We suffer because we cannot do what we want, so what we long for is to do what we like, when we like, with whomever we like, and as much as we like. We think that would make us happy. So what should we do in order to be able to live like that? Your first thought is probably, well, you need money for that. If we just had the money, we wouldn't have to work jobs we hate with people we hate. Just as the concept of FIRE, financial independence, retire early, suggests we want to have the economic freedom to do what we want, when we want, with whomever we want, as much as we want. So we assume that the purpose of life is to earn the income we need to make that freedom a reality. And so we all rack our brains trying to figure out how we can gain more money. However, Buddhism raises the question, can we really gain the life of freedom that we seek by earning more money? Then it teaches us that actually, it's not money that will bring us true freedom, but wisdom. Probably a lot of you are wondering why that's so. Well, today I will explain the Buddhist point of view on what a life of true freedom is by looking at the examples of 4 different people. Here is today's table of contents. 1. Socrates. 2. Tetsuro Hoshino. 3. Madonna. 4. Siddhartha. I will talk about these 4 today. There is a book by Plato that raises the question, can we really say that doing what we want, when we want, with whomever we want, as much as we want, brings happiness? In this book, Callicles and Socrates have a debate. Callicles emphasizes this idea that happiness is to allow one's desires to expand without limit and to find ways to satisfy all one's longings. In other words, Callicles thought we'd be happy if we could do what we want, when we want, with whomever we want, as much as we want. Socrates' response to this was, in summary, sweet things seem pleasant and good to the healthy, but illness and perception may make them bitter. Conversely, bitter things are ordinarily unpleasant, but may serve as good medicine for the ill. He countered Callicles' logic with this argument. Certainly, everybody likes sweet and tasty things, and we might think we want to eat only that. But what would actually happen if we only ate McDonald's fries and cakes and drank only cola just because we like these things? We would eventually ruin our health. We need to have balanced eating habits, even if we don't like that as much. We need to make sure we eat our vegetables, get enough calcium, etc. In this era of abundant food, where many people are suffering due to overeating, Socrates' words must really hit home for some people. At any rate, about 2.1 billion people are said to be overweight worldwide. Data shows that while famines and malnutrition kill about 1 million people per year, obesity-related sickness kills about 3 million people per year. Also, about 120,000 people lose their lives in wars each year, while about 1.5 million lives are lost to diabetes. That's why it's said that for modern society, sugar is more of a threat than gunpowder. Since we want to eat what we want, when we want, and as much as we want, we have worked to ensure many people around the world can do just that, but now people are suffering from the likes of obesity and diabetes as a result. Socrates' argument that sweet things seem pleasant and good to the healthy, but illness and perception may make them bitter rings profoundly solemn in a time like this. So what exactly was Socrates saying here? He was saying that eating what you want when you want, as much as you want, gives only temporary pleasure, so it is not true pleasure. This doesn't only apply to food. Doing what you want, when you want, with whomever you want, as much as you want, is certainly done in the pursuit of pleasure. But does it bring real pleasure? That is the question raised by Socrates. Next up is a character called Tetsuro Hoshino. He is the main character of the anime Galaxy Express 39. Do you know Galaxy Express 39? Tetsuro goes with Mattel to various planets. One of them is very scientifically advanced, and the people there have realized this ideal. In their society, they can do what they want, when they want, with whom they want, as much as they want. We who live on Earth also established all the fields of human endeavor in the hopes of accomplishing this. The more progress we see in the likes of politics, economics, science, and medicine, the more people can do what they want, when they want, with whom they want, as much as they want. This is the goal. In the 17th and 18th centuries, wanting to be the select few to prosper, some European countries colonized Asia and forced enslaved Africans to labor for them. Their plan was for aristocrats and the wealthy bourgeoisie to be able to do as they wish, while anyone who did not fall under these categories would be their stepping stones and have to suffer misfortune. This ill-judged plan proved a failure. In modern times, the fields of human effort like politics, economics, science, and medicine are providing many people with the ability to live out this ideal of doing all they want. And yet, at the same time, many people are suffering due to rapidly widening societal disparity, so it seems we are still far from achieving an ideal society. In Galaxy Express 39, the people of that planet have managed to realize a society that allows for all to do whatever they want. Everything is now done for them by robots. Farming, tending to fields, fishing. Robots do it all. Robots make all the cars and perform all services, so only humans reap the benefits of science and are able to do whatever they want. If someone says they want to eat katsudon, then ding, it will be brought to them right away. And it's not some ready meal. They'll get a proper, freshly made serving of katsudon. Tetsuro says this planet is the best. He thinks this world, where you can do as much of whatever you want, is the best. And everybody gets to live like that. It's not that some people are unfortunate. Rather, this society allows for everyone to live like this equally. Tetsuro seems to think this is an ideal society. However, the people of this planet all look bored. Also, everyone is big and fat because they can eat what they want and as much as they want. And no one ever gets diabetes from overeating. Scientific progress has eliminated that kind of thing. People just get really fat. This part is in the manga, but the people get so fat that their houses burst. Then robots will build them a new house. So, on this planet, they can just sit back and receive service from technology. Science will do everything for them. But seeing how bored everyone looks, Tetsuro realizes this. Life on this planet may be convenient and very easy, but there's no sense of fulfillment. This is no paradise. That's what he says before he goes to the next planet. Life there was convenient and easy, and they could do however much of whatever they wanted, but did that bring the people a heartfelt sense of fulfillment? Well, that's another matter entirely. This is the point raised in Leiji Matsumoto's manga. After this year's Winter Olympics, I saw the radiant smiles of the athletes who won medals and thought that it's precisely because they had to endure pain, hardship, and other unpleasant things to get these medals that they have such joy and a sense of accomplishment. If they had been born into a world where they could just enjoy the convenience of having anything they wanted done for them, do you think they would have such satisfied smiles? That's what I was thinking. After managing to earn a lot of money and gaining the freedom to do however much of whatever they want, quite a few people find themselves wondering, is this really happiness? In the richest country in the world, the United States, people who earn a lot of money and live a life of freedom are said to be living the American dream. Many who have attained this American dream, though, raise the question, is this really happiness? In fact, many people in the U.S. die of drug overdoses. Some celebrities who had embodied the American dream also die this way. The line between drug deaths and suicide is blurry. Even in cases that aren't suicide, many likely end up dependent on drugs because reality feels so pointless and painful that they want to forget about it. These people aren't always poor or facing a lot of hardship. No small number of people who attain the freedom of living as they please end up with addictions too. Madonna is someone who has embodied the American dream, but she had this to say. In the lyrics to the song American Life, sung by Madonna herself, she describes her own feelings on the issue. Here are the lyrics. I tried to stay ahead. I tried to stay on top. I tried to play the part, but somehow I forgot just what I did it for and why I wanted more. This type of modern life, is it for me? This is what she sings. Later, she says this. I got a lawyer and a manager, an agent and a chef, 3 nannies, an assistant and a driver and a jet, a trainer and a butler and a bodyguard, or 5, a gardener and a stylist. Do you think I'm satisfied? These are the lyrics. We know that the lyrics are about her own experiences from this quote from an interview in a magazine. I used to think that the American dream was to be able to arrive in New York with only $35 in my pocket and say, I'm going to make it. At least that's how it was for me. Thanks to being able to travel, I know very well that Americans have certain opportunities in life that people in other countries don't have, and I am very grateful for that. However, I also think that Americans are totally immersed in the wrong value system. This is what she said. It seems Madonna wonders why she can't find real happiness, even though she has managed to obtain a lifestyle that others envy. It must be frustrating. Lastly, I will talk about Prince Siddhartha, who would later become Sakyamuni Buddha. Prince Siddhartha taught that the viewpoint that you can be happy if you earn money and do what you want, when you want, with whom you want, as much as you want is wrong. In fact, that lifestyle will not bring you true freedom at all. This is what was taught by Prince Siddhartha, later Sakyamuni Buddha. Sakyamuni Buddha summarized the things that we want into the 5 desires. These are desire for food, desire for wealth, desire for love, desire for fame, and desire for sleep. The desire for food means wanting to eat and drink tasty things. The desire for wealth means wanting money and possessions. That means desiring things like cars or watches. The desire for love means wanting romantic relations, wishing to find a special person to be with. The desire for fame means wanting recognition and praise from others, as well as to be valued. The desire for sleep means wanting rest and relaxation, desiring to laze about. Buddhism teaches that these are the things we like and want. So, will we find real happiness and freedom if we just satisfy these desires? As Prince Siddhartha's title tells us, he himself was the son of a king, so he had every one of these delights. He was so affluent that at his palace of 4 seasons, 500 beautiful women waited upon him, and he could hold extravagant parties every day and every night. So he got to eat and drink delicious things and obtain anything he wanted with the great wealth he had as the king's son. Also, he married the most beautiful woman in India, and what's more, he could enjoy the company of 500 beautiful women too. As the future king by birth, Siddhartha's desire for fame was catered to from the start. He was highly valued and showered with praise by everyone. Also, whenever he wished to sleep, he was able to simply laze about. Whatever wish he had, it was always granted. And yet, despite all this, it all felt empty and lonely, and no joy for life was to be found anywhere. Wondering what he was living for, the prince's heart was gripped with a sense of futility. This was what troubled Prince Siddhartha. So, why was he worrying about this? That was because he had realized that all people eventually have to face old age, sickness, and death. You could say that all people are on a small boat that's racing downstream on a rapidly flowing river. The river is headed towards the waterfall of death. Being alive means eventually getting old, getting ill, and falling down the waterfall of death. Death will inevitably come. To live is to be headed towards death. This boat is a pleasure boat, so we can have a raucous time doing what we want, with whom we want, as much as we want. However, as long as we're on this boat, we are restricted to this inescapable journey towards death. This is what Prince Siddhartha realized. There is the idiom, a clown playing about on the palm of death's hand. This is the state of all human beings. Someday we will all be crushed in death's hand. Human beings are like clowns allowed to play about on death's hand for a short while, so we all lack freedom. We're all unable to be free from aging, sickness, and death. This is what the prince realized. Imagine this for a moment. Tomorrow you'll have to die by execution, so today you'll have your last dinner. You're told you can eat and drink whatever you want to your heart's content. You wouldn't think, yay, sweet freedom, would you? No matter what delicious food you ate, you'd be too scared about tomorrow's execution to swallow it. In the same way, being alive means eventually having to die. We are death row prisoners with an unfixed suspended execution date, so we don't know when we will be put to death. Living an existence so lacking in freedom, it is impossible to feel heartfelt joy no matter what we do. Realizing that obtaining true freedom is impossible without first overcoming old age, sickness, and death, Prince Siddhartha left the palace to live as an ascetic. He then discovered the existence of true happiness, free from old age, sickness, and death, and his teachings on this happiness are what we call Buddhism. This true happiness is called the path of no hindrance. Hindrances are things that obstruct you or get in your way. The path of no hindrance is a state of perfect freedom where nothing can hinder you. What that means is that you will have happiness that is completely unhindered by old age, sickness, and death. Sakyamuni Buddha clarified the existence of such happiness. That is what is taught in Buddhism. I hope I have conveyed this to you today. Old age, sickness, and death cannot be resolved in a true sense with money. Only through Buddha's wisdom can they be resolved the moment we enter the path of no hindrance. This is what Buddhism teaches, so I would be delighted for you to keep on listening from now. This kind of thing is what I talk about on this channel, so if you think it sounds interesting, I encourage you to subscribe. Thank you for watching this video.